Alrighty, I believe we're up and going. What's going on? What's going on? How we doing? How we doing? Another watch list here going into October 2nd. Stuck to my plan from last night and placed no trades today. Didn't execute anything. Am completely cash and very happy about it. Woke up pre-market, scanned a little bit of the gappers, saw where some of those kind of back burner B-grade setups were gapping to, and some of them were triggering, but I just wasn't super keen on taking subpar setups. I think I've slowly been graduating towards those A grades and just sizing more into those and trying to stick to that. um, So a few names that I had on watch. One of my friends, Brian, had mentioned this Nvidia to me. Was breaking out of this descending wedge. It had stuffed the last time, but we had this one, two, three, four tops, and then it finally broke it yesterday. And then we got the week open there today, pulled back right into it, had a little gap and crap reversal type where we broke it, tested it, and came back and reclaimed it. And right around here, I contemplated the entry. If I'm buying weakness, I'd have to use prior day's lows as a guide. But if I'm buying a reclaim, I could use today's lows as a guide. Um, but I just decided against it. I don't know what's going on. I saw the headline with the U.S. government shutting down this morning, and we got quite a gap down. I didn't know if more headlines were to follow. Obviously, the gap down got absorbed. So longing any of those Nvidias, SMCIs, LEUs, longing any of these ones that I've had on watch, Tesla, they all just pushed higher. But in the event that some more headlines came out with the overall market, I wouldn't have want to take losses on that front when they weren't A grade setups in my book, anyways. So that being said, I will run through a few things. Open, nice failed fall through setup here. Pushed, come on. Come on. There we go. Pushed up into the 880s, that looking left level. We had this prior support here in the 850s. Little head and shoulders, failed fall through under 850s. Looking all right. The way it's popping and failing looks like it might want to roll over. DVLT, this is definitely going to be my number one watch into tomorrow. The plan from the watch list yesterday was looking for it to either break below 1 or break above 120s. And we got that break above 120s. It held a dollar, pushed, and held the dips twice. In a perfect world, I would like a week open. I would use ones as an initial risk. Any sort of flushes into the 130s, 120s, I would buy that week open using one as a guide, and then look for that 130s reclaim and add move risk to lows and look to pyramid into that position. But this is setting up really well. It's kept shorts in there. Volume has dried up. Each day it tries to pull back. Anyone who is short now is underwater. We don't have any overhead resistance nearby. I haven't looked at the dilution, what that looks like, but just the way it's trading, fairly familiar with it. I've had it on watch for the last couple weeks, and it's paid pretty well. So that one will definitely be my main watch. Not losing New A off watch. This is in the same boat as DVLT, where if this loses 180s, it could get hit into these low ones. I would have liked it to have done that today, and then I could have had a backside bounce on it tomorrow. But if it loses 180s, could get a rollover down to those 140s. So I will keep that one on watch. What I would prefer is for another long op on it now that it's extended itself and pulled back. But we have had the hard crack lower highs, and that 210s, if you recall from over here, was a key level. And now it's becoming the top on the backside. Right here. We had 210s, support, 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 cleared out a couple times. I was looking for pops into that level. Right here we held it all day, where every time it flushed into it, it held, was that key level all day on that day. That was the failed follow through level on the prior day, where it dipped, catch, dip, catch, dip, catch. And then today it finally acted as a top and used that 210s as a guide. That's why I think it's key to have those key levels noted. And whether you mark them on your chart and put something like this, I had it at 220, 210, 215, 220. It's all in the same kind of area. Whether you mark it on your chart, whether you note it down somewhere. But now if we continue to top out at 210s, it could roll over 180s. If it continues to support 180s, could reclaim 210s, 220s, and then maybe get a breakout down the line. Same kind of thing that DVLT. You had hard crack, lower highs, sideways day right on this neckline, little failed fall through spot, and it held and came back. So it's just a matter of which way this one's going to break and possibly join that trend in that direction. LAC, that idea for the 750s breakdown was kind of key. Whether it was going to break out or break down, that 750s was the line in the sand if it wanted to hold it or fail it. It failed it and was a decent little fader, but no real interest there. DAS is slow. Everything else is loading very fast, and DAS for some reason is lagging. I keep this one on watch now that we've cleared out through that daily breakout level. We don't have any overhead resistance nearby, so this would be that new key spot up in the 70s, 80 area, probably 75-ish would be that trigger. But we've now held this 53s twice. So we've got a push, pull, a bottom. I'd want to see a lower high and then hold a higher low versus 53s and then get a possible breakout down the line. But this is in the same basket as DVLT and New A. You can see all the similarities in these charts where they get the hard cracks, lower highs, and then they get in this consolidation phase. And now for my style, I have to wait for them to pick its next direction. I've played the volatility, I've played the breakouts, I've played the first red days, and now the volatility has simmered down, and now wait for it to pick its direction. CDLX hasn't gone away, ADAP hasn't gone away, just not completely dead. I shouldn't say hasn't gone away, but they haven't broken down, so I'm just going to keep them on watch until they pick their direction. YCBD pushed and failed, no volume on it right now, so no real plans on it there. BQ, same thing. BANF, same thing. This one here is holding up over that day one VWAP. I don't love that there's a bunch of volume up here in the 90s to $1. You can see that it keeps wicking up there. I think there is a world that this could squeeze out, but I don't like how much volume exchanged in the upper end. Typically, I like to see it holding above that day one VWAP because that's usually where most of the volume was. But you can see the volume profile here in that $90 to $1 range. It has a decent amount of supply still up overhead. So it's holding up pretty well, has a history of pushing and giving back all of its gains. So if it does start to build trend, it probably catches shorts off guard. So worth keeping on watch. If it starts to break above $1 and build, I could play that as a T+1 breakout, so I'll keep that one on watch. Nothing there. ELBM did break out today. This was the closest I was to pulling the trigger on a trade today. It just had almost no volume. I would have had to swipe, like on this breakout candle, it traded 9,500 shares going through 130s, so I would have had to swipe offers to get filled. And then risking from 130s down to 120, risking 10 cents. There was a a 3-to-1 trade to be had in it up into the 160s. I likely wouldn't have sold it. I would have probably still been holding it just because there was no reason to sell. But it's just the volume's so light, so I just decided against it. Talked about NVIDIA briefly, and then a couple other large caps that are catching my attention. Pony is starting to put in some tighter days after this big uptrend. It just touched the 10-day moving average today, but it's still extended from the 20, still extended from the 50. The 50 is down here in the 16s. The 20 is down here at 18. So it's still extended from those bigger time frame moving averages. So I don't love the long yet. I would prefer something more like this first. But just keeping it on watch. And then Lumen. This one here is right along the 10 and 20, and it's getting fairly tight. That little 660s break, I could see that being a decent little setup. Funny enough, too, this Jobby, I was swinging that one short for, if you remember from the watch list over here, under 16, 17, under 14s. Really took a nice trade on it, but it's starting to come back. It's now reclaimed this prior support level, and it's got this little flag setting up over here. So funny enough, it's actually setting up for a long trade. So I'm going to keep that one on watch, kind of in the same basket as Lumen. Just buy a breakout, risk the low a day, and set a stop if it's going to work. But so as far as that goes, main couple watches are going to be DVLT and BenF for possible breakouts and liquidity traps. Jobby and Lumen, I like those larger cap names the best out of the big picture swing ideas. And then keep an eye on New A and D-Fly. They're in the same kind of phase of their daily chart pattern, so waiting for those ones to pick a direction as well. So that's my thoughts. We had a couple guys in here. We had Sam and Jeff. Good to see you guys. But yeah, those are my couple watches. I'm not sure if there's any point in rambling on any further. Sometimes I like to keep these short and sweet. I know when I watch, if I've watched video watch lists in the past from other traders, I like the short and sweet and to the point. So sometimes I try to make what I look for if there's no questions that pop up. So I can probably leave it there. Not a ton else that I feel the need to touch on. No trade reviews today, no trades, and very happy with that discipline there. Value add, you betcha. I help you a lot. Wow, that's awesome. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Alrighty, I will catch some of you in IU tomorrow, and the rest of you I will see on the watch list tomorrow. Peace.